Hello and welcome to part 2 of how to shade your paper curl. Let's get right into it. You see here, I'm dropping in the midtones. You're using an HB or a 2B pencil, somewhere in that middle pencil range, dropping in your midtones where you see shadows, sort of giving those shadows a place to be defined. You can use pencil pressure as well to make it so that some of the shadows become darker midtones. It's tempting to kind of stop here as a beginning art student and say, okay, my shadows are finished. But this is where we are going to push ourselves into more advanced shading techniques and really using these pencils that we have. Dropping in more midtones here and starting to see how the midtones are a fade that happens. Looking in our original image or a still life for the differences. Now starting to drop in, noticing this area is darker than the rest. And as you're doing this, the curl should really take on some more roundness. Noticing this is darker. We merely drop that shadow in as sort of like a base coat. Now dropping in the lights to be able to see that value transition. Here the value transition is looking a little choppy, going back to a middle pencil to fade that value transition and realizing that it fades into a darker edge. The magic of this is that you will see the light logic start to emerge. You'll notice that I'm working multiple parts of the paper curl at once. I'm sort of working it based on whatever pencil I have in my hand, trying to get all the midtones. Now, getting the big gun, the big dark Vader 6B, getting in there and starting to drop in the core shadow. The core shadow is going to start to give this depth, emotion, and power. Once we've got the core shadow in, taking and using our middle pencils to blend, using our light pencil to give a little value to the background. There's still parts of this that aren't finished, but as my painting teacher once said, go to the part of the painting or the drawing that is the least finished. Because when you do that, especially in working with value, you can start to make value comparisons. You can start to look at your subject, look at your drawing or your still life, whatever it is that in front of you, you're spending a lot of time with your eyes, observing the shadows and the value transitions of what's in front of you. Again, this is not finished. This is just part 2. So let's review our steps. Step number 1 is drop in your midtones. Everywhere that you see shadows, drop in your midtones. Step number 2 is go just a little bit darker, add in some darks either through pencil pressure or a darker pencil. Step number 3 is drop in your lights with an H pencil, your lightest pencil. Next step, number 4, is to fade using your middle pencils. And step number 5 is, well, you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Think of it as you rinse and repeat 20 times, let's say. You go through this whole process. Always going to the part of the picture that is the least finished. The magic of that, if you can do this effectively, you will see the light logic start to emerge. It will start to seem as if there is a light source that is casting a shadow, and you will get all of the emotional intensity of the girl with a pearl earring in a simple paper curl.